That's sick, man. It's nice, man. Gotta take pictures of this.
All right. I think we're
Uh,
live.
take pictures too, okay?
We're live.
Wow.
All right, all right, all right. Hello, aloha. I'm Trish da Dish, live and lively here for another episode of Mana'o at Home, number 26. Can you believe it? And if you don't know, now you know this is our last show of 2020. We'll be taking some time off for the holidays and just to kind of regroup and come out fresh and in full force for 2021. So we're just taking a little vacay, and we have a great, great special guest today. I couldn't have asked for a better episode to end this fantastic run here on Mana'o at Home. Our friend Benny Uyetake is here, and I'll be introducing him here very shortly. Right now, I just want to give some love and aloha to our Wonder Wahine, Paula Funga. She dealt with some drama and some bullying and handled it with grace recently online and during a radio show. And from that, over $25,000 has been donated in her name to the Maui Food Bank. And it's just a really, really beautiful sentiment to come out of something sour. And I just can't thank Maui enough. And Malika Dudley of Island News for helping spearhead that fundraiser. And also to just, much love to Paula and for her just rising above, that kind of situation. We all deal with situations like that. And she dealt with it with such style and grace. So love you, Paula. Without further ado, I just want to welcome my good friend. I'm going to call him my good friend now. He is such a cool character, and he has such a big heart. He's an educator. He's an entertainer. He's a husband. He's a father. He's a brother. He's a dynamo entertainer, a string master, composer, and just someone that when you're in the room with him or even here virtually, you feel better afterwards. I remember working in a nonprofit event once. I was emceeing and I got to see Benny and I saw how he handled himself on and off the stage. And you don't forget moments like that. And he's continually impresses me. And I'm just so excited to have him here. The legendary Benny Uyetake!
Hey, it seems like it's the end of my performance. Thank you very much. We did everything.
That's
How
it.
you doing, Trish?
Okay, show's over, guys.
Not yet. I tell you. Good.
You look so handsome. I'm so excited.
You.
We've got the wizard Cody Quintana there. He set you up. Yeah. Love it. So grateful for him and his aloha. Yeah, Cody. And we're joined by Gus and Seta too, side stage. You got a whole team today. How you feeling?
Great. I'm around great musicians. Now I'm self-conscious. Now I really want to get sick. Oh, God.
No, we all learn from each other. I'm really happy to have you in your home,
Thank you.
which is your classroom. You've been an educator Upcountry for over 30 years, which is so impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And so many lives you've changed. I'm sure you see your students all across the islands, and they
kills me.
When they grow up and you meet their kids. And it's just a really beautiful impact you've had on this community, whether it's music or with the band, being a band leader. And I want to talk more about your travels. Man, we have so much to talk about. And then, let's get started with some music, though. That's why everyone's here. They want to see those sweet
let's try.
skills. So thank you so much. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mana'o at Home presents the legendary Benny Uyetake.
Wow. Did it come out okay?
Yeah, it was okay.
Okay, it was okay. Make sure, because I have my biggest critics out there right now, my brothers and my sisters.
No, it was pretty swell.
Okay. They always say something.
chicken
You better
skin.
play. You better play good because it's a reflection on them. If I don't play good, okay.
We have lots of viewers already. Already people from Sacramento all the way to the East Coast are watching.
Oh,
So
cool,
very
cool,
exciting,
cool,
very
cool.
exciting.
Nothing
Benny,
to do, so can come.
oh man, Benny, I love. Obviously, you are a your dexterity when you play. It's just so. It's my eyes are just like ah.
My name is Benny. It's not Dexter.
That's your middle name, okay?
Oh, dexterity. Okay. I just want to let you know that.
Mahalo.
I'm an English lit major, and so I know what dexterity is.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, as a writer, I'm falling more in love with you as the show goes. Well, thank you for your bright smile, your zest for life. You're so cool, and we just really appreciate you sharing this really cool set from your classroom. You're at Kalama Intermediate School. You've been there for 30 years. Like you said, you've been an English.
Oh, no, I haven't been at Kalama for 30. I've been Upcountry. I've been teaching here for the last 16.
Here. Okay, cool.
I don't want anybody to think that I was here that long because I'm not that old.
But I've also, you're English teacher, now music teacher. We're in your classroom right now. I love seeing all the guitars and ukulele in the background.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff, yeah.
And also the band. That band is pretty famous.
Yes. Well, actually, it started a long time ago, 1980s, late 80s, with my dear friend Rama Camarillo, who is the instructor at Kamehameha now. But he started a program here along with his dad. I remember his dad did a summerfront program thing, and I was there in Waikea. And he's really, Rama is such a great spirit. He's a great educator. He has two sons that just won individual Nahoko Hanohano awards.
Yes.
He is yeah. So I'm very fortunate to know people like that. He brought this program down. Then of course Naomi Nakama had it for a few years. Then what I did with this program was I decided to have them be part of my life in my performing. So what I had them do basically is to be my, if I played a main stage, they'll come on and be part of the main stage. So many of these musicians had the opportunity to share the stage with Hawaii's or the world's best jazz players, just because of my opportunities. And I gave them the opportunity, and they gave me the opportunity to let them be part of my opportunity. So we all was good.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, you're originally born and raised in Hilo,
Yes.
Big Island boy, and now a
Proud
Maui
of that.
man. Tell me a little bit about growing up in a family of 11 children.
You know, I
That
have a
is so
different,
cool.
I have a different outlook of it because my brothers and sisters look at me like I was some kind of prima donna when they all had to work and I was the ones cruising all the time playing guitar, because many of them are really great people. They as far as we have like about 4 educators in our family. My brother is a great salesman that kind of takes off like my dad, and I have 2 brothers that work for elderly homes as what you call it, engineering
Caretakers.
department.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they run the places as far as the maintenance places and the engineering department. And then I have a couple sister that was also in the education department. She was a clerk for many years, and she had to leave the Department of Education for retirement purposes. But we have some great memories in Hilo, with a dad who was really into music, and a mother that was just loving and caring. And there was always music filled in our house. It was a small house for 11, but we had such a wonderful life that was incredible. I talked to my sisters, and my sister says it's really incredible that we, as 11 brothers and sisters, most of us, or all of us, had the things that we really wanted when we were growing up. The things that I had: guitars, I had amplifiers, I had stereos. My brothers and sisters had da-da-da. And we actually had a wonderful life. And we still continue to have this wonderful life today. Our parents are gone right now, but bless their hearts, they showed us how to live. We went to private school. We eventually, many of us went to college, and I was sent to the college in the mainland, and then music schools, and there you have it. My dad was a great historian in jazz music, and my dad's best friend, believe it or not, was, I think, one of Hawaii's first virtuoso ukulele players. If you look it up, his name is Jesse Andres Kalima. And Uncle Jesse was my dad's best friend.
Wow.
Came to our parties all our lives. He's in the Hawaiian Hall of Fame, Music Hall of Fame. Came to our house all our lives and shared with us. He gave me my very first kamaka ukulele. He was a giant man, and my dad gave me one time this small little ukulele. It said, "Uncle Jesse gave it to you." I went, "Okay, it's cool." And, I gave it to my dad. Actually, my dad gave it to me. But it was something that was very special. And before that, my growing up in Hilo, we spent a lot of time in Kona. I remember when we were growing up, I got to tell you this. You ever heard of a guy named Richard Boone? I don't know if you know Richard Boone. He was this cowboy actor. It's only for old people that know this. But I remember he lived right next door to us, and we got to know him, and he was in half gun will travel kind of stuff, and he was really old, but we got to be introduced to some great people growing up in our lives. And I don't know if you're going to share this with me, but maybe in growing up in Hilo, can I share this one too?
Absolutely. It's your stage, sir.
Okay, when I was growing up and I was ready to go to college, my dad brought me down to the Parks and Recreation, and she said, "We're going to see Auntie Dorothy," and I said, "For what?" He says, "You're going to work this summer." And I went, "Oh man, I'm going to work this summer? I'm going to college. I don't want to work." Anyway, he brought me to the Parks and Recreation. She says, "You know, Benny, I want you to work for me. I want this to be like one of 3 to 4 years that you'll be working for me. And what you're going to do is you're going to work with the kids." And I said, "Cool." After 3 years, I became a music specialist. And this lady was the founder of the Mary Marnock. She was my mentor. I learned from the best. She also had 2 other people that she worked with. One was Edith Kanakuoli, of which the stadium for the Mary Marnock big stadium where the hula dancing is named after her. And George Naopi, which was also co-founder, which he was part of it. And I remember when my 3rd year, he used to scold me when I used to play with him and I used to play it wrong, like I played jazzy. He turns around, look at me, it's too jazzy. And Auntie Edith would say, "No, listen to him." You know, this kind of stuff. It was at Waikiuka. I remember Waikiuka up in the Big Island.
Wow.
And I was in awe by the fact that I was around people who are in the Hawaiian Hall of Fame all my life. I'm not in the Hall of Fame. I don't claim that I will ever be, but I can tell you one thing. I've met some wonderful musicians because of my dad, and I owe a lot to him because of that. And then my brothers and sisters eventually went to do the Parks and Recreation thing. But Auntie Dorothy was a very, very important factor in my career, in my life, and I'm very proud of that. And people go, "Ah," when they see that you were with her. I said, "Yeah," but she was really mean, you know. No. She was strict. Oh my gosh. You know?
Well, it sounds like you had such a blessed upbringing, which is, really shows about what a beautiful person you are in soul. So thank you to them for raising you right, is what I say.
Yeah.
Let's hear some more music. How about it?
Okay, now I got a 12-string guitar, and
Yes.
I just want to let you know that I'm pumped up, and some of people are going like, "You can have a gentler side." I'm going to play my first few songs, and it's not going to be the gentler side. It's like,
Yes.
I just like to, I'm a rock and roller. My brother taught me how to play rock and roll. It was like boogie woogie stuff. And I mean, I was listening to Johnny Winter and I was listening to stuff like that. Plus the Young Rascals, which was mellow, but this kind of style is what I really like to play when I was growing up anyway, but kind of, let's like this. It's easy. It's not easy, but it's fun. Oh. need more of that again.
Woo! Oh boy,
For this energy.
that's what I like. I want to go surfing. I love that song. Oh,
Oh, it's a
I
good one.
love rock and roll. Thank you so much. As Michael Elam just said to me, Benny truly has a style of his own. And
I know.
wow,
He's good.
really,
He goes
really-
like, oh my God, Benny. Because
No.
when Michael plays with me, Michael doesn't know what to expect. So what Michael usually does is he always asks me stuff like, okay, what you gonna play? What are you gonna do? So and he's ready for it. And then the only problem about it is that when I tell him I'm gonna do this song, I'm gonna do this song, then we go on the bandstand and all of a sudden I'm not playing any of the songs that I told him we're gonna play. There's Michael. He's so awesome.
You got to keep those piano players on their toes.
I mean, and Michael Elam is one of the most gracious people, but he's such one of the best musicians I've ever played with because he listens.
Yeah.
He listens to the music, and he's so cool, man. I dig
Yeah,
that dude.
we wouldn't have Manao at home without him. He convinced me to jump on this wild train, and it's been so much fun. So mahalo to Michael Elam. We love you from Manao Radio.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
you touching on, you were saying mentoring. You had musicians come up and mentor the kids, which, in actuality, the kids, teach the musicians, which I thought that was really beautiful when you shared that with me.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you first, a lot of it started with just being in the field, the musicians, but I had an opportunity, first of all. George Kahumoku, when I first started to teach over here, George Kahumoku used to come and I used to invite him to play and teach for the kids. And he brought his ukulele, he did everything, and he played for free. He did all kinds of stuff. He invited me to play at his shows with his kids. It started with actually George kind of. He and a guy named Ken Martinez Bergmeyer. But George, he invited my kids to play on his stage, and it was the most incredible thing because the kids knew that they were playing with pros. They saw the ukulele boys, they saw all these great musicians. They saw Richard Ho'opi'i, Kevin Brown, the people, Brother Nolan, the people that made
Good
musical
company.
impacts. Yeah. And they were all great friends of mine throughout the years, and I was in awe, but I always hear they were more in awe, it seems, of me because I'm teaching kids, and I'm going, can you handle 30, 40? I used to bring packs of like 60, 70 kids to a place where you can only fit 10 people.
I know.
And so it's it was a great thing. And then that educational part of it was that, and I also, with Michael, of course, Michael, most recently, Michael and Jimmy Dillon, and a guy named Halimanu Villarimo.
Yay!
These guys, and even Terry Garrison a few years back, she used to come to our classroom, and they used to come in and they used to teach my kids how to play this and that. And then when we had programs, they will come on and be part of the program. And I have these musical geniuses rocking with the kids and don't even miss a step because I try to play as best as I can when I'm teaching them. I don't water down anything. I don't go down to them. And they always tell me, Mr. Yu, it's too hard. I said, this is how the song goes. I don't tell, can you play it slow? I said, I'll play it slow once. And after that, you're going to have to play, I'm playing La Bamba. And they're going like, what? But then they get it and they're blown away. And they have the opportunity. They play it on stages with Willie K. They play it on stages with Jake Shimabukuro. Mm-hmm. They played it on stage with my dearest of all dear friends, Paula Funga.
Yeah.
In fact, I have Paula's nephew in my class, and I played on many stages with her. I bless her heart. I just heard what she said, and there's nothing more satisfying to know that someone like her could even have the opportunity to talk to other people to let them see what is going on in the world today. And
Absolutely.
so I'm looking at the world famous musicians, and throughout this talk, I will even talk to you later on about my jazz stages, because even my students were a part of being part of the jazz greats that I played with throughout the years. And
yeah. Well,
so,
let's hear some more Sonic Sensations. Then when we come back, I want to talk about your schooling on the mainland,
okay.
and how that shaped your life.
You know what? Sonic sensations. I bet Chino has to work on his vocabulary to make sure that he understands what you're saying, because your sonic sensations is killing me.
You are making me blush. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, tip this tenacious talent, Benny Uyetake, on PayPal. We really appreciate his time and energy, and aloha. Here's another beautiful song.
Yeah. This song. Wrote this song long time ago. The morning sunrise above the West Maui mountains, like it's done countless times before. But in these past few days, the morning sun's a sight to see. Ever since Manolani smiled at me, the calm of the ocean reflects the bright blue sky. Seen its beauty so many times alone, but in these past few days, I found a reason to feel so free. Ever since Manolani smiled at me, the morning sunrise slow above the mountains, and its light begins a bright new day. It reminds me how our eyes shined in the darkness of the room in front of the TV where our bodies lay. The sound of the silence calms the evening. Somehow it soothes my weary soul. I think of her sweet smile and how my life will be. Ever since Malani smiled at me. Sunrise slow above the mountains, and its light begins a bright new day. It reminds me how our eyes shined in the darkness of the room in front of that TV where our bodies laid. The morning sunrise above the West Maui mountains, like it's done countless times before. But in these past few days, the morning sun's a sight to see. Ever since Manolani smiled at me. Ever since Manolani smiled at me. Ever since Manu, ever since Manulani me, smile at me, smile at me, Manulani, smile, Manulani, smile. Yeah, I like that song. It's been a while then. Mellow song, enough to put people to sleep.
Oh no, lucky girl, whoever you
Oh
was.
yeah. That was a while back. Don't tell my wife that.
Okay, I won't.
No. She was just a
Aloha
friend
to
of
your
mine.
beautiful wife, by the way. She's a
My
lovely.
beautiful wife is beautiful.
She's a great lady.
Yes.
Well, you're sounding so sweet, and I'm just so blessed to have you here. Thank you so much for your time. I want to dive into a little about your mainland adventures and how, after the parks and rec experience and with these, extraordinary individuals from Hawaii Island, you made the jump to the mainland and lived in the Pacific Northwest. And then eventually ended up going to the Berkeley School of Music. So tell us a little bit about, this, because to me, you're a sweetheart, this sweet, fun young man, leaving the islands to go to school. What was it like out there in Seattle?
You know what? Seattle was great. First, we hopped. My best friend and I hopped, and we went to a little community college in Spokane for a year. And then we looked at each other and said, "Okay, it's time for us to go. I love you enough, but you know what? 1 year of roommating with my best friend was enough." So he went to Washington State, and I ended up going to Seattle University. And spending time in Seattle was such a wonderful time. I was part of the Seattle University music department and studied English and liberal arts and history, art, music, and of the like, philosophy. And got to be in a great place where I learned a lot of music there. But as I was going to Seattle University, I ended up going to this a school, visiting a school to take lessons. I went up there just to take this guitar lessons. It was called the Cornish School of Music. It's a big time school. A great composer by the name of John Cage was one of the great composers of all time, and he was there as a piano player for ballerinas. Anyway, I went in there and to check it out. And I called him up to tell him that I wanted to be part of the guitar. I didn't tell him I wanted to take lessons. I said, I just want to go check out you guys' guitar department. I walk in there. There was a jury of like 8 teachers. Son of a gun. I could say son of a bee. But they walked in there and they say, "Hey, what do you play?" And I went, "Guitar." And I went, "I got an audition to play in this school?" And I guess I played.
Nice.
I played something like that. Okay, I haven't played that in like about 20 years, and I'm playing it right now. And then all of a sudden, they said, "Can you? Who you listen to?" You listen to Joe Pass, and just so happened I was listening to a Joe Pass, reading a Joe Pass book, and I said, "Yeah, I love Joe Pass and stuff like that." Then a bass teacher came up and played with me. This bass teacher, believe it or not, was the greatest musician I've ever met in my life at that time. His name was Gary Peacock. Gary Burton's another school. Gary Peacock. Gary Peacock was Bill Evans and Miles Davis's bass player.
Woo!
Yeah. And so he played with me and he helped me. He says, "Keep on playing." Then he says, "Just play this." And he soloed over it. I did all kinds of stuff. And then this guy named Jim Knapp played the trumpet. I'm like I just want to play guitar. I don't want to do all this kind of stuff. And by the end of the week, I enrolled in a music college. My father wanted to fart because I was now going to 2 major colleges. And I'm going, "Dad, I'm going to study at the Cornish School of Music." I did half semester, which is, half credits because for a little while. And then I became a student there. And I went to 2 colleges, but I didn't finish up there because after I graduated from Seattle University, went home for a little bit, just a little bit, and then I went to the Berklee College of Music. And I can talk to you about Little Berkeley, maybe in the next session as we play another song or something.
Let's hear another song. Then we'll hear how you met up with your Hilo friends and you guys took over Boston.
My Hilo friends, these guys
Hilo.
are great musicians.
Hilo.
My Hilo friends. I had like 4 Hilo friends that all went to Berklee. Unreal.
Yeah, awesome.
And that wasn't the plan. I was just going to go just hang there too. But anyway, I'm gonna do a song that I wrote in Seattle when I was thinking about Hilo, and it's called Hilo by the Bay, actually. And it has this old rock and roll thing, and it's the same thing as I'm playing right now. It's me, right? So I'm gonna do this. Wow. I was 18 years old when I left my family. Start a new life, learn about the birds and the bees. When I missed that morning sun, those days were oh much fun. I missed the waves and I missed the swaying coconut trees. Well, I'm proud and happy, I'm Hilo born and raised. Standing in the rain in the Kamehameha Day parade. Well, those tempting island girls, the sweetest in the world. Nothing more better than the chicken heckamai used to make. Oh yeah, I said a Hilo by the bay, Hilo by the bay, Hilo by the bay, Hilo by the bay. You know I'm proud and happy, I'm Hilo born and raised. I used to spend my time listening to the radio, talking on the telephone, going to a movie show. Each day my mind was back to my hometown, my island shack. Going back home to Hilo by the bay, Hilo by the bay, Hilo by the bay, Hilo by the bay. Proud and happy, I'm Hilo born and raised. Now I spend my time on the Valley Island. Maui's so fine, but I'm still a Hilo child. Each day my mind goes back to my hometown, my island shack. I'm going back home to City Hilo by the bay, Hilo by the bay, Hilo by the bay, Hilo by the bay. Proud and happy, I'm Hilo born and raised. Oh, no time. Well, I'm proud and happy, I'm Hilo born and raised. Hilo by the bay. I tell you, you're going like, oh my God, what the hell? What did he drink?
Oh, I love it. You're wonderful. This is such a great journey, and a great, I like, this is like if someone doesn't know you and they're tuning in, they're just like, wow, this is fantastic. So thank you so much for sharing. Everything that you do is so personal, like the way you play, it's your own style. Your songs are so emotive and fun, but I always want to dance when I listen to you. Like you make me want to move.
The reason why I play this way is because I can't play that way that other people play. They always used to tell me stuff like, hey, listen to this guy and play just like him. And I said, I don't play my way, but it wasn't because I wanted to play my way. It was just I couldn't. The end is near my way. What I did was I just played like if it was a Carlos Santana song, it was, like I would never start it like that. I couldn't because I couldn't play it. So I go. And I would just play the song like how I play it. And of course, Michael Elam or Chris or Josh Greenbaum would be listening like, when are you going to be playing the key notes? I said, I'm not going to play it because I don't know it. but I know the song.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it came to that part where I actually evolved playing my style. But what were we talking about? I just went
We
off
were
track.
talking. No, I love you so much. I want to talk a little bit about being on the East Coast with your Hilo friends and
Oh,
what
that
that
was
was
great.
like.
Well, one of my very dear friends first, his name was, his name was David Inamine. Dave is everyone's bass player. I mean, who bass player in all of Hawaii. And David was a mentor of mine growing up. He just came back from Berkeley, and we were spending a lot of time in Oahu. And I just graduated from college. And he says, you know what, man, Berkeley was happening, you should go. And then so I made my initial thing that I was going to go. But it was really funny because before I was planning on going, I got to tell you a story. I was doing a workshop that was like about 6 weeks long with a guy named Howard Roberts. Me and 6 other people was doing a workshop because the Guitar Institute of Technology, the Music Technology School of Technology, was starting up, and Howard was going around to recruit people to go to the school. But I went, and I had an introductory cheap workshop price because the whole idea was to introduce us to going to the school. In LA, and so I was there for 6 weeks, and I decided that I was going to go and for the long ride, just hang out with Howard Roberts, the great Howard Roberts. And I went, and he asked me, "You want to go move to LA? You know, there's a school over there, and you got to pay for room and board, but we'll give you a really good price on the tuition." And I went, "Oh no, I think I'm going to the Berklee College of Music." It was a toss-up between the Guitar Institute of Technology or Berkeley. And my friend Dave says, "Hey, Benny, you better go to Berkeley. It's much better than that." But then again, it was a new school, and nobody knew about how great that school ended up being. And that school ended up fostering the greatest West Coast and American musicians all over, you know. So anyway, I went to the Berklee College of Music, and I got there, and I went, who am I going to stay with? What am I going to do? So there was these Hilo boys, Roy Okatani, Gerald Kita, who I played with before, and my friend Wayne De Silva. And we end up living together and hanging together there because it was like, guess who's coming to dinner? They weren't expecting me to even come. I just came, and I ended up staying for 2 semesters. But anyway, the funny thing about it was at the Berklee College of Music was these guys was intense, full-on jazz players. I had the chance to see sessions and stuff at school with these guys like Chick Corea, Quincy Jones, who was a graduate. I was talking to somebody, her name was Toshiko Akiyoshi, Lou Tabakan. These guys were all great musicians, and they were at our school. They would come and visit the school. I just would come and just hear their names. I don't know who they were. I used to check them out, you know. But my friend Wayne De Silva, who knew all the names and everybody, would take me to listen to great guitar players of the day. One of my very favorite guitar players of all time was a guy named Michael Stearns, Steve Swallow, Jeff Berlin, Aaron Nussbaum, Adam Nussbaum, these great musicians. And in the school that I was at, I remember Wayne and Roy and I was in the in the Boylston room, and there was a group of musicians that was hanging. And one of them ended up being one of my dear friends today. His name is Donald Harrison, one of the great saxophone players. But there, I had a chance to meet Kevin Eubanks, who was Jay Leno's guitar player, right?
Show. Yeah.
Yeah, the Tonight Show. And then how's this one? Then I saw this small little dude walk in with a hat. He's a sassy looking dude, and he was visiting his brother. And just so happened, his brother's name, you know, it come to my, you know, like the Marsalis family, you know.
Brantford.
And Branford came, but Winton was the one that was walking in Winton walks in, and I go, wow. He just came in from Juilliard, where Brantford was just sitting back and going to Berkeley. And I got to meet all of the great players, and even had a chance to even play with some of the drummers that they played with on the Tonight Show. Jeff Watts, they call him Tane Watts. I never heard him referred to as Tane Watts, but and then Smitty Smith, and so people like that I had a chance to meet, and I still wasn't a caliber of them, but they were very wonderful people. They housed me. I mean, they showed me how to to learn jazz and straight ahead progressive music. But Roy Okatani, bless his heart, we just lost him from COVID in Sweden, and he was such a great spirit. We played many sessions up there. Introduced me to great musicians over there. Wayne De Silva, now he lives in Las Vegas, where he's one of the he's a horn player for like the Temptations and people of that nature. Yeah.
The company you keep is so fascinating.
Oh no, it's fascinating. And my friend David Imini, he right now he plays a lot with a guy named Kimo Cornwell and Michael Paulo, the great saxophone player, Fred Schroeder, and he was doing projects with Freddie Levette, I think it was from the OJs. So I had a chance to meet all these kind of people because of my friends who knows all these great players. Wow. And Dave is still waiting for the call. You know, he's going to be playing music at he was playing for the Bee Gees show, and but it wasn't a Bee Gees. It was like a Bee Gees cover show. But they all dressed up like the Bee Gees, except this small little Japanese dude that playing the guitar, and that's Dave Inamine. But you know, cool, always cool.
Well, let's hear some more music, and then we'll come back and talk about your 2013 Hoku that you won.
Okay, that's good.
Okay,
you know what? I'm gonna do this song because I don't want to forget. Now this is corny, very corny. I'm gonna use my glasses. I wrote this song for this little place called Makawao, and people hear this song all the time on the KPO radio, and they say, "Do you know the song Makawao?" And I go, "Yeah." I said, "Can you play it? I really like it." And they don't know that I did it, you know, but it's okay. And I play it all the time now for the students. But anyway, it's called Makawao. Makawao, Makawao, where people are the friendliest people you ever know. And Makawao, Makawao, Upcountry Maui sends aloha nui to you. Where on earth people are always happy, heaven skies are bright and peaceful blue, where children are filled with laughter and smiles, where each smile is saying I love you. Makawao, Makawao, where people are as friendly as the friendliest people you'll ever know. Down in Makawao, Makawao, Upcountry Maui sends aloha nui to you. Where in Hawaii people are singing sweetly, flowers or blossoms are always in bloom, when neighbors, friends, and families are saying aloha, 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 yeah, owe it to you. Makawao, Makawao, where people are as friendly as the friendliest people you'll ever know. Down in Makawao, Makawao, Upcountry Maui sends aloha nui to you. Mako wow, mako wow. Well, people are as friendly as the friendliest people you'll ever know down in Mako wow, mako wow. Upcountry Maui sends aloha nui to you. Even with an untuned song, untuned guitar, I still like this song.
That's because you love your town that you teach in.
I
That's
know, I
beautiful.
do, I do.
That's got such an island cruise vibe. We said it's like a John Cruise kind of vibe. We really like it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's the kind of.
We could probably do a 3-hour show with you, just so you know.
I
Benny.
think we should have.
You're gonna have to come back next year. This is just not long enough.
What were you thinking?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I should.
No, just kidding.
We should have started Tree. I'm sorry. One fun fact about Benny, besides being such I love your stories and a journeyman and just a fascinating musician. You also, one of your songs, that was included during your Nahoku Hanu Hanu first experiences, was actually included in the Don Ho show in Waikiki, which is
okay.
That is so cool.
Let me tell you the show on this one. This was the first nomination that I had, and it was with a group called Iconic Catamarans. We were on a boat band. And I went to Berkeley, and I came home, and they were all dressed up, and I had a VIP seat with shorts and everything. Walked in, and we were at the not the Blaisdell, I guess the Blaisdell Center. I don't know. And so what happened was I end up. I can hear my phone or somewhere. and anyway, what happened was this. I end up sitting in the audience, and we're up for the 1980. We're up for a most promising artist. So the song was played, boom, and then we end up not winning, but that's okay. But then that same song ended up being in the Hawaii Calls, and I just wrote the song, and they would say stuff like this. Great Hawaiian favorite. And I went, Hawaiian favorite? It was just written last year. What the heck are they talking about? So they had that, which was cool. That was 1980s. And then eventually in the 90s, a group by the name of the Fabulous Crush. These guys were like a very well-known group. They were the band, the house band for Don Ho. And what they did was they took the song, they put a little Hawaiian lyrics on it, they did all kinds of stuff. I'm going to have to turn off this phone. And I happened to, shucks, what is this? Okay.
You're so popular.
Yeah. So anyway, it was on the show. And Don Ho introduced the song. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible song, Ku'ule by the Fabulous Crush. And so because of that, I got some recognition with this guy named Tom Moffat. And
Tom Moffat.
Tom Moffat heard the song, and his producer ended up producing my very first album. And but I think it was to pay me back for using my song. And then and it was an old song. It's my mom's favorite song, and I don't know if I'm going to play it, but anyway, it was fun. It was my mom's favorite song, and that song gave me some recognition as a songwriter.
Yeah.
And the Crush did it, and it was such a pleasure. My friend, this is how I first known him. My friend Gilbert Free says, Benny, somebody stole your song. I said, what do you mean stole my song? He said, no. He said, my old band is playing it in Honolulu with Don Ho. And so Don Ho, I have an album that the Crush wrote, and Don Ho signed it. And I went, wow, this is really great. Such a flattering experience that at least had the great Don Ho introduce my song at his show. And it was probably one of his last shows before he retired as a musician. So I had a chance to meet him through my uncle Jesse Kalima and people like that, it's great
That's
memories for me. Great
that is so
memories.
cool.
Yes.
You did get recognition though with the Nahoku in 2013 as
Yes, I
part
did. Due to
congratulations.
Jazz Alley TV, and I
Yeah.
just like to thank Jazz Alley TV and Hawaii TV.com, and my good friend Karen Martinez Bergmeyer. He did a lot of the jazz shows, but this was particularly a slack key festival, and I won this as a producer along with all the others with a wonderful Maui musician, Kevin Brown.
Mhm.
I also another musician by the name of John K. Avi, Sonny Lim, Brother Nolan,
Woo.
and the most legend and a wonderful woman by the name of Cindy Combs. But
Yeah.
um, the most well-known of all was a guy named Dennis Kamakahi. And Reverend Dennis Kamakahi wrote all the great Hawaiian songs. And I was fortunate enough to be as a recipient of this Hoku Award, which I have in my mantle at home. And it's such a great privilege, as a producer, not as a songwriter, not as anything, but as someone who produced some great music with some wonderful people. That year, Henry Capono and I think some other friends were up for the nomination of this compilation. I think Jake Shimabukuro guys. I think it was guys like that.
And you were like, sorry, Charlie.
Yeah. No. I said there's no way we can win, but
Yeah.
everybody's going and saying, "How can we win with all you guys?" And in the end, we end up winning. And I went, "Holy smoke!" I wasn't there because I went to enough Nahoku Hanohano Awards where we lost that I said I ain't going again. And my wife says, "You ain't going again." All of a sudden, I see the results. They gave us a call and told us that we won, and that was in 2013. It was really
Well, well deserved. And I love, you're so humble. I love hearing you give all these accolades to all your friends and these legends. But, you yourself are quite a legend, and we really appreciate you here on Maui. So I just want to let you know what a big deal you are. And
Yes.
I just really enjoyed your time today. We only have time for one more song because you're such a busy bee. You got to get to your gig on the west side
go.
at Chemo's.
Yeah.
So if
But
it's
I'm
not a
probably
festival, you're always giving back. You're always giving back to the community, doing nonprofit events, doing stuff at the college, West in Maui. And now, when can we see you at Chemo's regularly?
Chemo's is tonight. It's Thursdays and Tuesdays. I play there from 6 to 8. It's such a flattering thing that Chemo's had called me because Chemo's was the home of Maui's great musicians. And I tell you again, I'm not one of the great musicians, but they had the great musicians in there with the great Sam Ahia. And he was playing there for many years. And of course, the great Willie K. He played there, and I would have never given up any of that playing over there. I would never give up it because of the fact that Willie Spirit was playing there, and it's proud when I said, yeah, I play at Chemo's, or Willie K plays there. I says, yeah, man.
Yeah.
And to be part of a legacy, and to be part of the legend and known as Chemo's, I kind of feel great and honored to be a musician in such an iconic place. And of course, it was the house. It was a house that in the 2000s, it was a house that kind of Willie built in a sense, And so I'm part of that legacy, and I'm very honored. Yeah.
Well, we're so honored to have you here on Manao at Home, our final show of the year. Let's have one more beautiful song before we leave, okay?
Okay, I don't know if it's going to be beautiful. I'm going to get down and do something. Thank you, guys.
Wild.
Thank you, guys.
Encore. Oh, shoots. We can't.
I gotta
oh,
go.
Man, Benny, it's just, that wasn't enough. We're going to have to invite you back in 2021, okay?
You please do that, okay? Please.
Okay. Big mahalo to our tech wizard and just fantastic soul, Cody Quintana, and Gus. What's up, Gus? It's Senna. Much love, Cody, for all your hard work today. Really, dialing us in, and just beautiful camera work. And what a way to present a legend like Benny Uyetake. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate your time. We really do.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Love you guys. Chino, love you. And you too. And you too, Trish da Dish.
Thank you.
And Michael Hilo, I love you, Michael.
Yeah, what a way to end this year. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been Mana'o at Home, special sesh with the one and only Benny Uyetake. You can follow him online at his website, bennyuyetake.net. And also, he's got some great ukulele meditations up there. I love Benny's boogie. I've been dancing to it all day. And
It's my dad's boogie.
Oh, I love it. I really appreciate all your time and energy, and all you musicians that were on the show this year. You really, really made a tough year like something very special. So I'm going to get emotional. So this is my last show of the year. We'll be back in 2021. And yeah, be kind, stay well, and, keep it real. Peace and love, guys, and aloha. I'll see you next year. Love you. Thank you, Benny.
Thank you, guys. Aloha.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you next year. Aloha. Ah!